Hey VC, this is Glen Kellaway, your low-end music freak. Um, this is in response to a great video I just watched from Rachel the Music Ma'am. Um, 12 questions. I believe Jeff at Calico Silver was the one who came up with this thread. So thanks, Jeff. I do love your channel. So that's great. Thanks for doing this. Um, I was inspired to do this from Rachel just watching her video. That's how I caught on to it. So the 12 questions. Let's just start. Do you go towards or away from an artist who is recently deceased? I would say generally I go towards that artist. A lot of times I unfortunately discover artists that have deceased and start giving them a chance when I probably haven't before. Um, but yeah, I'd have to say I do. David Bowie would be good. I think I listened to a lot more Bowie after he passed away for a while. Um, well, definitely going back to John Lennon. I mean, you couldn't get away from hearing Beatles music and playing Beatles music and John solo stuff for quite some time after he'd gone. And I still play Beatles music every day. So who am I trying to kid? Can't think any more off the top of my head, but definitely generally go towards the artist. Two, are you pro or con of cover albums? Well, it definitely depends on the quality of how well it's done. I have a couple here that I wanted to show you. Here's a great one when celebrating 50 years of Blonde on Blonde, Old Crow Medicine Show. This is a great album done live at the Ryman. It's the Blonde on Blonde album done in its entirety using acoustic instruments, kind of doing a bit of a bluegrassy feel on a lot of the songs, but great album if you like acoustic music and you like Bob Dylan. I highly recommend you check Old Crow Medicine Show, 50 years of Blonde on Blonde. Another one is, I don't know how many people are familiar with Alejandro Escovedo. This was a tribute album done actually, I think, to raise money for Alejandro when he needed some surgery. Great, I guess you'd call him a singer-songwriter from Austin, Texas. Incredible songs this man writes. He's done some great covers himself. He did a great cover of the Rolling Stones song "Sway" off of Sticky Fingers. Anyway, this is another terrific covers album. This is one that I wish I liked more because I love the artist, Diana Krall's Wallflower album. The only reason I don't like this is because of David Foster's involvement in it. He turned all these songs into syrupy garbage as far as I'm concerned. I think Diana did a great job on the covers, and I don't know why she partnered up with David Foster on this. I'm not a big fan of what he does to music. It just turns it into pulp as far as I'm concerned. I saw Diana Krall open for Neil Young at Massey Hall just before this album came out, and she did a solo version just with her and a piano of Don't Dream It's Over, which was just so beautiful. And that song is on this album, but again, they just overproduced this record and killed it. So there's one. Love the artist, not too crazy about the covers. Okay, next question. Number 3, classical versions of rock albums or whatever. No, I don't like them. I'm not a big classical music fan. The only classical album I have and listen to, and I showed this in my banjo video a week ago, Bela Fleck did a classical album, solo banjo, which I absolutely love. It's beautiful. I can listen to some classical guitar. I don't mind that. But other than that, I'm just sorry not a big classical music guy. It's not something I play at all. Next question, number 4. Bands with a new frontman, should they retain the name? Yes and no, depending on how important that person was to the band. I would say no, the Doors couldn't carry on without Jim Morrison. I don't like Queen being called Queen without Freddie Mercury. It makes no sense to me. Um, who else? One band that I think does a great job of it is King Crimson. I mean, they've had so many singers and so many changes, but the one constant is Robert Fripp, and he is King Crimson as far as I'm concerned, and he always ends up with a quality vocalist. The band's always called King Crimson for the most part. He did have some thing where they called it the Project and did stuff like that, but he resurrected King Crimson. I'm going to say 2012 or 13 or something, and they've been carrying on with a great lineup, and no problem with that whatsoever. I can't imagine ever the Stones, if something happened to Mick Jagger, calling themselves the Rolling Stones. You couldn't do it with the Beatles because they were all so integral and important to the band. I'm trying to think of bands that you can do it with. There's not that many really that. So maybe my answer is change it for the most part. Bonus tracks. I do not like bonus tracks being added to the end of the original album. I don't get it. I think you're ruining the integrity of the record. I love bonus tracks, but please put them on a separate disc. Please, please, please. Okay. Box sets. You hate when they I hate when they cheapen them. I love box sets when they're done well. The Grateful Dead does them incredibly well. The Beatles have done some great ones with Sgt. Pepper and the White Album and Abbey Road. They're just so well put together. The big boxes, the album set for the mono that's behind me. I mean, these are done incredibly well. The Bob Dylan mono box albums is great. Even the CD set, if you just have that, is great. Dylan's done some great ones with the bootleg series, the deluxe editions. They're fantastic. Here's an example of a band that I love. That's the crappiest disc set. It's the complete catalog of Yes. Anybody have this box set? I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna open this, and there's the records. So this is what you get when you pull it out. Watch what happens. Like, oh great, it's not going to happen now. These things are so flimsy that when you take them out, look, there's the, it's ridiculous. Look at that tiny little writing. Here's the disc in the thing. There, that's a bad way to do a box set. Yes, you should be ashamed of yourself for releasing that. I'm a big fan of this set in terms of the product that you get, but just badly packaged. Just like no one took any interest in making sure this was a quality set from a quality band. So you can get some crappy box sets, but you can get some great box sets. Do you hesitate to read a biography because it might ruin your image of the artist? No, I think we're all human. We all know, we all have our faults. I just read Woody Allen's biography, apropos of nothing, a fantastic autobiography, and he goes into detail about his issues with Mia Farrow and with his wife Soon Yi and how that all happened and everything. And it's actually, to hear his side of the story was quite interesting, and details that you don't really hear. But that didn't make me think any worse that Woody Allen's one of the best directors and movie makers in history. I obviously don't promote any kind of child molestation or abuse, and I kind of believe Woody's story a little bit where I hadn't before. There's a few others. I didn't like the Goldman biography of John Lennon. I thought it was really just made to be mean and show a dark side of someone that really wasn't necessary. I thought the whole motivation of the book was to write a crappy book and make John look bad. So didn't like that one. But normally I don't mind reading the sordid details of someone's life. If I wrote a book, there'd be a few embarrassing details too, I'm sure. What's next? Am I an apologist for an artist? No, exactly the opposite. I actually could drop an artist because of his actions. I have strong beliefs. I like I could never listen to Ted Nugent because I'm an anti-gun guy. I can't listen. I would never listen to Kid Rock. I can't stand even looking at him on TV because of his association with the Trumpers and that whole mindset. So there's a lot of artists that I just have no respect for whatsoever because of either their political beliefs or some actions they've taken that deeply offend me. I would never offend or defend artists, so I could drop an artist who really did something offensive if he was a wife abuser. John Lennon was supposed to be been an abuser when he was younger, but he matured and certainly saw the evil of his ways and did his best to amend that. So that's fine. I mean, we're all human. I think we all deserve second chances. But if it's a continuing issue, then no, I would have no problem not defending an artist. Do you feel embarrassed for collecting? Absolutely not. I am proud of collecting. I have 2,200 CDs. I have probably, 50 box sets. I have now probably just a couple hundred records. Nice stereo. I've got a bit of Beatles memorabilia. My Ringo I just got yesterday. Hey Ringo. So no, I am not in the least bit embarrassed about collecting. It's a passion, especially with music, and it's my hobby. It's my life's passion. I don't have any other hobbies but music, so that's it. No embarrassment here. Do you ever get tired of listening to music? No, never, ever for 1 second. I can listen 24 hours a day. As a matter of fact, I don't think I get a chance to listen to music enough because I do have to spend time with my family and people that I love, and which I enjoy doing, don't get me wrong. But if I was alone, I would think the stereo would be on 24 hours a frickin' day. I think it would even be on when I was sleeping on repeat. Absolutely love listening to music. I've been passionate about it since the cradle, and that's a resounding never get tired. Frustrated with comments that are left on your videos when you know they haven't watched? No, not at all. I'm happy that they even just looked up my video, and maybe 2 seconds in they thought this wasn't for them. I did a video on banjos the other day. There's probably people tuned in going, "Fuck, I hate that instrument," and turning it off. Or maybe they said, "Hey, nice video." I don't care. It doesn't have to be genuine. Make stuff up, flatter me. I'm fine. I love it. Tell me you love me. I'll take it. Okay, last. Ever felt like quitting YouTube? Well, that would be a short career if I did that, because I just started 3 months ago. So that would have been the shortest career in YouTube history. Just falling in love with this. You know, like when I retired from my job a bit over 2 years ago, my goal was to play in a band. I play banjo and I play bass. I really had played banjo in bands for most of my adult life, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to rock out a bit because that's the music I grew up with, and I really didn't get a chance to do that with my banjo. So I started playing bass guitar about 3 years ago or so, and really fell in love with the instrument and dedicated myself to learning how to play, and played in a band. After about a year, I had some personal issues with someone in the band, and it just wasn't fun for me anymore, so I walked away. Tried to start up a band for about another year, and really had no luck getting anything together. There's so much chemistry needs to happen, and you all just have to be pulling in the same direction, and it just wasn't working. So I got frustrated enough that I just went, you know what, I'll just play in my basement for fun. I'm happy. And then my nephew Jack, who I love and has started his channel, JT Media, so please subscribe to his channel. He's just done his second video, his introduction video. So he came over to visit us, and he's just watching TV, and he flips on the YouTube app, and he starts watching this YouTube channel, the Canadian Stud Muffin, Larry Graves. I knew nothing about YouTube channels, so now he's kind of got me intrigued. I'm sitting there watching, and Larry's doing a video on his favorite Beatle albums or something, and he's, you know, he's a quirky guy. He's really funny. He's got kind of a Jim Carrey type face. He can do the stretching of his mouth and stuff, and he makes these faces, and really, really entertaining. I love you, Larry, if you're watching this. So I got into watching these videos, and then after the weekend, and when my nephew Jack left, I'm still catching up on the Canadian Stud Muffin videos. If you want to watch the funniest video in the world, watch the Stud Muffin open a can of Spam and take a bite of it. Oh my God, you'll laugh until you pee yourself. Anyway, so from then, I'm an active member on the Steve Hoffman Music Forums, and one of my favorite fellow members is Norman Maslow, Mazzy. I always loved Mazzy's comments on there. I always felt that we 100% jived. We both big Beatles fans, both love the San Francisco 60s scene. We both share our love of Ry Cooder, and there was just every time Mazzy mentioned anything on Steve Hoffman forums, I agreed with him 100% and thought the world of him on the forums. Then one time he mentioned that he has a YouTube channel. I went, oh wow! So I check out and find out that Norman Maslow, has been doing these videos for 2 years. I didn't know. So that was the next step after the Stud Muffin. So I'm falling in love with Mazzy's channel now, and then I'm talking to my nephew back and forth. I said, you know, I might do a channel or something. I should try this. But it was I have no computer ability whatsoever. So then I just started playing around with my iPad, just personally, just seeing, hey, can I video myself doing something? And it kind of worked. So I put my first video out there about 3 months ago, and I've just developed such a passion for it and a love for it, and I feel like I've made so many great friends, even though we've never personally met. We see each other, so we know what each other's looks like. We can kind of tell our personalities, and I'm telling you, I'm just love the people that I've become close with on here. There's so many, I don't even want to mention any names just in case I forget one. So just you all know who you are, who we contact, talk back and forth, and support each other. And I can't tell you how much I love it. So I'm really passionate about the YouTube thing. I have no intention of quitting. So that's it. And thank you for watching this. Please remember that I have a contest going on that ends at the end of July. So if you're watching this and haven't entered my contest, it's pretty easy. It was just I'm making up an imaginary vinyl community music festival. All you need to do is come up with an act of musicians, living or dead, that you want to play at the festival. Give me the set list, and then do a shout out to a member of the VC that hasn't reached 100 subscribers yet to help people along. So thanks so much. Love you guys. Talk soon.